Good afternoon, my SS1 students. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. Our week 4 topic on our scheme of work is legumes. The last topic we treated was cereals, if you remember. So today is legumes. Legumes refer to the edible seeds of leguminous plants belonging to the Leguminosiae family. Legumes refer to the edible seeds of the leguminous plants belonging to the Leguminosiae family. An example of our legumes are your beans, your soya beans, your groundnuts, your melon seeds, and so on. You call it egusi, melon seed. I don't know what you call it in Hausa. Nutritive value of legumes. The nutrients you can derive from your legumes. Number one, protein. They are very good sources of second-class protein. If you remember in our first term, we did types of protein. We have we have first class protein and second class protein. First class protein are the protein that contains all the essential amino acids, while second class protein, they have little amino, they didn't have the complete essential amino acids. So these legumes belongs to the second class protein. They are second class, they are not first class protein. Number two, vitamins. They are rich in B complex vitamins. You remember also in our first time we treated types of vitamin. We have B complex vitamin, your vitamin B1. That is why I said B complex. So all the B complex vitamin, your B1, B2, B12, B5, all the B complex vitamins, your legumes has them. Number three, carbohydrates. Contains little quantity of carbohydrates. You know your carbohydrates. We did 6 classes of food also in SS1. Your carbohydrates, your protein, vitamin, minerals, fat and oil, and so on. Your carbohydrates, your legumes contain the little quantity of carbohydrate. Mineral elements. They are rich in your what? Calcium. If you remember all your lists, that is why I said always read your book. All these things we have done them in your first term in SS1. So if you remember your mineral elements, all the listed mineral elements, your phosphorus, calcium, iron, and so on. So legumes contain calcium and iron. Calcium and iron. Your legumes contain your calcium. You know calcium, the importance of calcium in the body. Good for your what? Bone formation. Iron, good for what? Supplying you your what? Blood. So calcium and iron, very essential. So it's good for you to always consume your legumes because it supplies you what? Calcium and iron. Number 5, fat and oil. Your oil seeds majorly. That's why I mentioned groundnut as example. Melon seeds, they what? Produces oil. So your oil seeds. So if I say oil seed, you should know that your groundnut, your melon seeds, they what? They are what? Good sources of fat and oil. So they are the types of legumes you can get your fat and oil from is your what? Your groundnut and your melon seed, because you can extract oil from them. Factors to consider when purchasing legumes. What are the factors to consider when you are purchasing your legumes in the market? Number 1, they should be fresh. They should be fresh. How do you know a fresh legume, a fresh beans, a fresh soya beans, a fresh groundnut? You see the look. You see the look of a fresh. If you see a fresh thing, you see the one that is not fresh. You should know. You should be able to distinguish between this fresh from their look. Number 2, they should be free from insects, especially your weevils. They are the small, very tiny insects found in your legumes. They should be free from mold, which can arise due to incomplete drying. In fact, I've explained it. I want to start saying is when you did not dry your product completely, that is when you see mold. So due to incomplete drying, you will see a sort of mold. They come together like beans. If you store beans for a long time and maybe the container is wet or mistakenly traces of water touches it inside where you kept it, you will notice that it comes together. It will be mold-like. So they should be free from what? Mold. And if you want it to be free from mold, that means when you want to go and measure your beans or your soya beans, you should make sure your hand is dry. You should make sure that the container you want to use in measuring it is dry, so that it will not go and drop water inside, mold will not form. So it should be free from mold. Then we have legumes dishes. Legumes dishes. Number one, akara balls. What you call kose. Kose, you all know kose. You eat kose is from legumes. We have mai. I don't know what you call it, or we call it mai. You all know mai. I think you also call it mai. I've heard you people calling it mai. So it's also made from beans, which is our legumes. Then we also have boiling. We can boil our beans also with salt and pepper, add some ingredients, we eat it. It's also a part of legumes dishes. And we also have legume stew. That one too is also made from beans. You can also make it from soya beans too. Legume stew. You can make from beans, you can make from soya beans. You can use your soya beans to make stew. You can use your beans to make stew. When we resume, we will practicalize it, and I know all of you will like it. Bean soup, legumes, we will practicalize it, you will enjoy it. I will not make it with ewedu for you when we resume. Don't start salivating though. Till we resume, I will prepare it for you. You are going to enjoy it with ewedu and amala or pandi. Method of cooking legumes. Method of cooking legumes. There are many methods of cooking legumes. These are frying. We can fry our legumes. Steaming. We can steam it. In catering, I don't know if it is all of you that is offering catering. You people presently should be doing method of cooking, steaming, baking, and so on. We can use steaming to cook legumes. Boiling, that one is very common. You boil things often, so you know boiling method. Then other method are roasting. You can roast your groundnuts. Baking, you can also bake your beans. You can bake your groundnut. You can put it in oven rather than roasting it with what is it called, sand and charcoal. You can also put it in your oven tray. You bake it. You can bake them all. So those are the method of cooking your legumes. When we resume, all these things are practical work. You will understand better when we practicalize them, when we cook them. So when we resume, we are going to do our practical. We can't carry over our practical. We have to cook it. You hear me? Till we resume. Bye.